أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد بن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah, we seek His aid and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of ourselves and of our bad deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide. And whomsoever Allah allows to be led astray, none can guide aright. And I bear witness that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah Ta'ala, the Exalted, and that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is his last messenger and servant. O you who believe, be mindful of Allah and die not except in a state of submission to Him alone, as a Muslim. O humanity, be mindful of Allah who created you from a single soul, and from that created his mate, and from that scatters many men and women. O humanity, be mindful of Allah, and do not cut off relations with your relatives. Indeed, Allah is Ar-Raqib. He is the ultimate monitor over you. O humanity, be mindful of Allah and speak the truth, in order for Him to accept you of your deeds and forgive you for any of your shortcomings. And whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger has indeed achieved the greatest achievement. As to what follows, indeed the best speech is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the best guidance is that of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. And of the worst affairs in our doctrinal system of Islam are the newly invented ones. For every newly invented affair in this situation is an innovation. And for every innovation is a form of going astray. And for every form of going astray is in the fire of hell. Hunger, thirst, thinking about hunger and thirst, food, replenishment, nourishment. This is probably what is going through our minds, or was going through our minds before we arrived here now, today. We are in the middle of the day. And it is lahira, it is outside, it is hot, the sun is out. And some of us came from work where some of our co-workers went to go to lunch. Some of you probably were asked, do you want to go to lunch with us, Muhammad, Khadija, whatever your name may be, and you said, no, I have somewhere to go. Some of your co-workers knew that you were going to the masjid. Some of them knew that you're fasting at the same time. So that hunger and that thirst is a wasila. It is a means to penetrate your heart. It is the means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated for your heart to be penetrated. He has legislated for your heart to be penetrated. Legislated what? Prohibiting oneself for something greater than that which they prohibited themselves from. The permissible acts. and to a certain degree can be obligatory, i.e. eating and drinking. You have prohibited yourself for a much greater reason. And that is why, subhanAllah, when we see in the Sharia of Islam, if one wants to reach a lofty level, yes, one can pray the 5 prayers, but there is also an opportunity to pray the sunan, the non-obligatory, highly recommended prayers that the Prophet ﷺ used to offer, 2 before Fajr, for example. As the Prophet ﷺ said, رَكَعَتَيِ الْفَجْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. That the Prophet ﷺ, he said that the 2 prayers before Fajr, the 2 rak'atain, the 2 rak'ats before the prayer of Fajr, as we call the sunnahs, they're better than the dunya and what it contains, to show their virtue. Witr is another one of them. It is something that if you offer it, it increases your iman, inshallah, and it raises your status, bi'idhnillah, by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the intention. When one leaves off that which is permissible for them for a much loftier goal, generically speaking, this is praiseworthy. When one leaves off eating and drinking for the much loftier goal of wanting to come closer to Allah. See, when we say I'm doing it because Allah said so, what exactly does that mean? There's 2 attitudes that can derive from that. I have to do it. I was raised this way, so I guess this is the right way. Many of us that were raised Muslim, we have to check our attitude in regards to our Islamic practice, not only fasting, praying. Those of us coming to Jummah, it's our daydana. It's something that we just continuously do. The question is, are we alive? Are we present? Mustahdir al-qalb. Are our hearts present when we do these actions of worship? Because if not, if the heart is not present, i.e. the intention is not there, there may not be any reward for it. The intention has to be there. So when one intends to leave something off for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is something that is praiseworthy. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Aisha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mentioned, 3 things that he used to do in the last 10 nights. As we know, we have entered the last 10 nights. Inshallah, tonight will be the 22nd night. Aisha radiallahu anha mentioned, إِذَا دَخَلَ الْعَشْرِ كَانَ الرَّسُولُ صلى الله عليه وسلم إِذَا دَخَلَ الْعَشْرِ he would do 3 things. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the 10 nights would enter of Ramadan, he would do 3 things. The first of them is that he would أَحْيَا اللَّيْلِ, he would liven his night. وَأَيْقَظَ أَهْلَهِ, he would waken his family. وَشَدَّ مِئْزَرَهِ, and he would be diligent and serious, undivided attention in worship, i.e. he wouldn't come close to his spouse. I really want to dissect this because I think with these 3 forms of advice, firstly, inshallah, all of us will memorize this hadith before we leave, because it is so pertinent for our reality now. As I've mentioned numerous times, we have to remember, listen closely, it's important for us to remember our negligence of our shortcomings. It's important for us to remember and to know that we have forgotten more sins than we can remember. Just think about that. We all commit sins. We all have shortcomings. We have forgotten more of our shortcomings than we can remember. And the ones that we do remember, what do we do about it? The percentage of sins that we remember, what do we do about it? Many of us have seen the shortcomings of our fathers and our mothers, our relatives, our husbands, our wives, and things that they have done have tattooed in our hearts. They haven't asked for redemption. They never said they were sorry, but we remember. And it may affect our behavior towards them, consciously or subconsciously. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being that He is the kind, He is the subtle, latif, being that He is al-halim, He He is forbearing. He withholds harm from you. Ila ajalin musamad, until an appointed time. Or, if he wants to, subhana, he can erase it. Ya'fu ank. Or he can cover it up. Al-Ghafur. When remembering this, brothers and sisters, we are negligent of this. And this is the nature of the human being. This is how we are as Ibn Adam. But making that attempt while leaving off that which is permissible for you during the day in fasting. But subhanAllah, in this time, these three things the Prophet ﷺ would do, would leave off certain things that were permissible for him at the night. So the first thing is that the Prophet ﷺ, that he would, he would ahya al-layl, he would liven his night. What does that mean? That when the night time came around, he would be up and he would be worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when I say worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anything that is a form of showing gratitude to your maker, recognizing that he has brought you here, he sustained you and maintained you. And when you do an action, you do it because you say, oh Allah, you're the one that has given me this faculties, you have given me this, and I want to give back in a way that pleases you. So for example, if after Salat al-Maghrib, you and your family make iftar, you have leftover food, you go to a certain area where you know there's people that need food, and you go and supply them the food. For example, you go and give charity, or you go give sadaqah, or you contribute or donate to a worthy cause. Many worthy causes by Muslims, Muslim organizations. For example, you may give some of the food that you have made iftar with to your neighbors. You may text a family member that there was shahna bainakum, that there was enmity between you two. You send them a text. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you? Ramadan Mubarak. I've been thinking about our relationship. Let's let bygones be bygones. I really want this to change. You reach out to that family member because you look at the outcome and the results, how it has a rippling effect on the generations under you, how they don't speak to each other. You make that effort. So at the nighttime, the Prophet ﷺ would pray. Mathna, mathna, rak'atain, 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 rak'atain. So the nighttime he would be awake in actions of ibadah. Those we can read the Quran, sit with our families and discuss a verse of the Quran. Sit with our families and discuss a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The nighttime, he is alive. He livens the nighttime. Generically meaning that we do not go to sleep early in the night. Or our night, the majority of our night is not filled with sleep. Is not filled with sleep. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about those that, for lack of better words, sacrifice their sleep for something much greater. They leave off that which they love for something more beloved. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a characteristic of them. He says, تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا. Al-ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that these individuals, the ibad al-Rahman, the worshippers of Allah, تَتَجَافَى, meaning that their sides are distant, عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ الْمَضْجَعِ, the area of rest, meaning that they get up off of their resting place. And what do? يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. They call on their Lord. So if sleeping is a task for you, and you are a night person or a morning person, for example, at least make the intention, if you haven't these previous 20 nights, to at least wake up and put your hands up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the first night. The second night, wake up and put your hands up a little longer. The third night, make 1 raka'ah of witr, if you haven't. The fourth night, maybe go to the masjid and pray tarawih, 8 rak'at. Move to 20 if you wish. But making an extra effort more than the 20 days. Ahya al-layl. But not only you. If you're in the household and there are people that are with you, it is important to be the individual of influence in your home. Allah al-Hakim, with His wisdom, has chosen that individual to be your son. has chosen that individual to be your father, your mother, your sister, your grandfather, your grandmother. This is all by the wisdom of Allah. So when you are up at night and you are praying, when you're up at night and you're watching a program to increase in your iman, when you're up at night and you're reciting the Quran, let's just not leave it for ourselves. Let's look at the ones we love. Because the ones we love is who we naturally, within our hearts, have that feeling for, which we want protection for, and most importantly, we want guidance for them. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Alhamdulillahi ala ihsanihi wa shukru lahu ala tawfiqihi wa imtinani. Brothers and sisters, really these last 10 nights is a time for you to dig deep. If you notice, within the Sharia, within the deen of Islam, Allah gives you certain times or places to where you have to try your best to detach. 5 times a day, try your best to detach from the dunya. From your work, if you're just coming from work, when you make wudu, it's a time for you to detach. When you come from work and you already have your wudu, you sit in your car and you just take a deep breath to detach, to go and make the salah. When you say Allahu Akbar, you start to think about the beautiful names of Allah. When you say Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Allah, you start to think, why are all praises for Allah? Think of things that happened to you in your life before that prayer. And you say, Alhamdulillah. Detaching. In Ramadan, during the day when you're fasting, detaching. When you pray Taraweeh, detaching. The last third of the night, detaching. When you give zakat al-fitr, when you give zakah, to detach. How? The money that you have, we all have faced times where we have had a level of greed. Greed with what we have earned. إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُ عَلَىٰ عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. We may say, no, this is what I have earned. I deserve it from the faculties that have been given by who? That have been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam always, and this is such a beautiful concept in Islam, when learning about Allah, it always reminds you to take everything back to the source. Everything and anything that happens in your life, remember Allah, meaning Allah is the source. Allah is the repository of all of the good. So the more that one remembers the repository, the source of all of the good that we have obtained, this is what will increase one's detachment from the dunya when they pray, when they fast. So in the nighttime, it is a time of detachment. He would bring it to life. The second thing is, أَيْقَظَ أَهْلَهُ. He would awaken his family. Brothers and sisters, wake your family up to the best of your ability. Or set an alarm. What Aisha said is very clear. أَيْقَظَ أَهْلَهُ. Many of us may have children that may not want to wake up. What's most important is that they understand on the last 10 nights, this is a time you have to go a little harder. This is a time you need to make an extra effort. And that is what was mentioned earlier about the Sharia. It always pushes you to be the best version of yourself. And guess what? The best version of yourself will not be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But when you choose to be the best version of yourself, choose those appointed times that Allah has chosen. أَيْقَظَ أَهْلَهُ. Waking your family. I'll never forget one brother told me, subhanallah, and this is a reality for many of us as fathers and as mothers, particularly the mothers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and protect them for being consistent with their children and waking them up when they know they should be waking up by themselves if they have teen after their age. He tries to wake his son up that is 16 years old. His son says, Baba, why do I have to do this anyway? Why do I have to wake up? God, I have to pray early in the morning. He knows that I'm going to wake up. The father said, Son, it's your akhirah. I've tried. It's your akhirah. That's you. There's that level of responsibility you leave on the children. But that doesn't mean you give up on them. It's that sweet spot. You're consistent, but you leave them with that level of responsibility. Bashiran wa nadhiran. Congratulatory, and at the same time you warn them. So when looking at iqadha ahla, waking their family up, you want them to feel that in these last 10 nights, it's something different. We have to push ourselves. So many strategies in waking up in the last third of the night particularly. If you know that praying 20 is going to sacrifice your last third, pray 8. Don't sacrifice the last third of the night. Make sure that your family members, at least, if they're young, that they at least wake up and pray something with you. You want them to have the istish'ar, the feeling, the ruhaniyah, the spirit of these last 10 nights. Brothers and sisters, we are bombarded on December 25th, the whole month of December, with Christmas. We're bombarded with Thanksgiving. We're bombarded with all of these different holidays, that some of them have no Islamic context behind them. Rather, some of them may be blasphemous to our faith. So the Muslims should make the extra effort to bring these sha'air to life, to bring these Islamic holidays and these Islamic times or places, to emphasize that. And if one is not able to do the last 10 days, they should at least choose one of the odd nights. And if one is not able to do all of the odd nights, they should at least, as some scholars mentioned, and there's a strong opinion on that, at least to choose the 27th night. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned Laylatul Qadr. As we know, Laylatul Qadr, we will talk about inshallah bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. This is one of the best nights. It is better than 1,000 months. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ مِنْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. That the angels descend, and the ruh being Jibreel, by the permission of their Lord, in every situation, for every situation. One of the signs of Laylatul Qadr is that the sun will have no rays the next day. So you will not know Laylatul Qadr until the next day. And that's one of the wisdoms behind that, that one searches for Laylatul Qadr by worshiping Allah in these odd nights. When you wake up and the sun is rayless, it may be that night, the night before. But the other day, the next day, it's more. And some of the scholars say because the wings cover the rays of the sun. So searching for Laylatul Qadr, and that's the wisdom behind not disclosing it. As the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that it was raised because of two men arguing. But it was raised, and Allah knew that it would be raised for a reason, for us to search for it and to work hard. To work hard. Many of us have professions right now. When we look back in our college years, we look back at our times when we started our business, it was not easy. And if you are a mentor or a coach to someone, if you are a father or mother to your child, you see them going through the hard times, you know that that is a sunnah of Allah. It has to happen. In order for you to appreciate it, you have to go through hardships. The hardships have to take place. So when one voluntarily gives himself a level of hardship, hoping for the reward, imanan wa ihtisaban, with faith and hoping for the reward, inshallah their previous sins will be forgiven if they fast this month of Ramadan, standing in the month of Ramadan, or standing Laylatul Qadr. So the Prophet ﷺ would wake up his family at this time. Waking up your family, brothers, please do not neglect this. We at least want our family to know that in this house, at nighttime, we will be busy doing some actions of worship. Anything. You know the levels of your children, the levels of yourself. It's about the effort. It's about the effort. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala named himself, Ash-Shakur. And thirdly, وَشَدَّ مِئْزَرًا, that he would tighten his garment. Again, this isn't a permissible act to be with your spouse. But in these last 10 nights, the Prophet ﷺ wouldn't come close to his spouse. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He would make i'tikaf. And i'tikaf is being stationary in a place. Mu'takif is to be stationary in a certain place. And some of the ahkam of i'tikaf It doesn't have to be 10 nights. It can be one night if one has the intention. It's preferable to be in a masjid jami', a big masjid, particularly a community masjid. And in our situation in America, a masjid like this, inshallah, is considered a place where one can make i'tikaf or something of this structure, with the intention to make it a masjid. That is where i'tikaf can be offered. The goal of i'tikaf is a ta'abbud, is to literally detach yourself from the outside world. And there's so much wisdom in that. Those that have made i'tikaf, and I mean i'tikaf, people are at levels. I'tikaf where people don't know you. If any of you have the intention to make i'tikaf, let's start small. If you live in Coppell, for example, in this area, and you want to detach, you want to really think about your life, and you say, you know what, I want to think about my life, and I want to think of the names of Allah in regards to my life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive to Arlington. Look up Arlington mosques, go to Arlington, pray Maghrib and pray Taraweeh there. Stay there from Maghrib to Isha. Stay there from Asr to Isha. Turn my phone off. Fast from my electronics. And just ponder and contemplate and think. This is the goal of i'tikaf. This is the goal of Ramadan. This is the goal of you being a Muslim. Is for you to think about Allah's actions upon you. So when the Prophet ﷺ shadda mi'zarahu, it's to basically say he would detach from the things that would bring him joy, even, for example, being with his spouse. He would, shadda mi'zar literally means tighten up his garment. So he would tighten up. He would tighten up. He would be serious and diligent upon that detachment to ensure that nothing is going to bother him. Mothers or fathers, if the mother wants to detach, all of you in the household should allow her to detach, to turn her phone off, to leave her alone. At least from Asr to Isha. If father wants to go out, leave him alone. But it requires healthy conversation. So ultimately, brothers and sisters, to plan. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that practice these three. Again, Aisha mentioned that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say, if the last 10 entered, when the last 10 entered, he would liven his night, and he would waken his family, and he would become diligent in worship. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those that remember these three, that have the intention to try to do each one of these three and be consistent. For when Laylatul Qadr comes, we will be of the ones that our du'as were answered, inshaAllah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة. يا أيها المؤمنون إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما